What's up, everybody? Welcome to Voices from the Planet. I am your host, Eric. Thank you for joining me. It's good to be back. Welcome back. I know you guys missed me so much. It's been over a year, so I'm dropping another episode. This is actually, I think it's 185, 186. Let's see. $186, and it's been over a year since my last episode. A lot has happened in that year, but if you're watching the other podcasts that I do, Everyone Knows You're High, you're aware of where I've been. But in case you're just a Voices from the Planet subscriber or listener or watcher, it's been a crazy year. We had the birth of our fourth child, our third boy, last May. So he just turned 1 this May. Been super busy with Everyone Knows You're High. Been getting a lot of new opportunities to do different events, recording podcasts at the expo, recording at the Aloha Cup, just getting out there in the cannabis community here in Hawaii, and been recording with the guys there for, I don't know how long it's been there, probably almost 4 years, maybe. Let's look. In case you didn't notice, this is a self-produced podcast. I set all this up. I hit record by myself. That's why there's only one camera angle. Let's see. When did we start? Everyone Knows You're High, Hawaii's best podcast about weed. This is the Hawaii's best podcast, but Everyone Knows You're High is pretty good too. Second to this, I would oppose. 3 years. So I think this September we make 4 years then. That means somewhere around there. But yeah. 3 years plus 10 years. Even though it's been a year, I still figured if I release a few episodes this year, it counts. So this year I'll be celebrating 10 years as that comes up in September. Yeah. It's been crazy raising 4 kids. Working, just grinding it out here in Hawaii with the exorbitant cost of living and the mounting bills and kids sports and everything that keeps us busy. It's not a cliche. It's absolutely, it is a cliche, but that's because it's true, is that as your kids get older and get involved in more activities, you end up becoming their chauffeur, just driving them from practice to practice. But it's summer right now, so it's a little calmer. So yeah, this episode, I guess we can get into the purpose of this episode, is post Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to all the dads out there, even though this is seemingly late, but still, happy Father's Day to you, all the good dads out there. Even the mediocre dads too, the try their best dads. But yeah, so on Father's Day, my kids and my wife got me a couple gifts. One of them being this shirt that I'm wearing. It says "Legend" since 1982, husband since 2011, and dad since 2014. And yeah, those are all accurate. That's, pretty much sums it up. But yeah. Let's see. Where was I? Oh yeah, the gifts. So this shirt, and then this jar here from, what is it called again? Sorry, Share Your Story. So it's a glass jar, and on the label it says, "Dad, I want to hear your story." And it has different categories for different cards, and they're color coded. And basically they're prompts for just questions, I guess. Kids want to know shit about their dad. So it's a way for them to get to know their father a little better on some pretty different topics, questions they wouldn't ask, or things that probably wouldn't come up in normal conversation. And I thought it was a great gift for one because at dinner time, we have a rule, no devices at the dinner table. So we enforced that. And then my wife got a different card game that has, again, all these different categories and different questions just to prompt conversation at the dinner table. And it ends up usually being pretty fun because some of them are fun questions. Some of them are a little deeper. They prompt for like, how do you feel about your family? What's the good things? What's the bad things about being like the age you are in the child order? It's a bunch of that kind of shit. Speaking of which, so, until the birth of our fourth child, our second child has been the middle child, right? And I feel like we almost planted the seed because we would always joke around about him being the middle child and what that means. And so maybe we spoke it to life, maybe he grew into it or whatever, but he was definitely a third child or middle child. But now that we have 4, I've been trying to impart on him that he's no longer a middle child, so he doesn't have to act like that anymore because now he is the second oldest, and that has a lot of responsibility that comes along with it. Because, if the first oldest is not around to be in charge of the younger ones, then he's the next general in line, right? I call them my Dotar Sochat. If you don't know, that's a reference to John Carter of Mars. The aliens that lived on the planet, that's the language they spoke, and in their language that meant my right arms, because these aliens had 4 arms, 2 on each side. So instead of referring to somebody as my right hand man, or you refer to them as my right arms. But that was John Carter. Great movie, by the way. Definitely highly recommend that shit. I know it's a Disney movie and people probably think but still it's good. You should watch it. So the plan for this episode is to pull some random cards out of here and answer the questions from my kids. So I guess at this point, if your name isn't Erickson, Hito, Indira, or Nico, you probably just tap out because, who cares, right? This episode is pretty much for them. As this podcast has evolved over this 10-year period, within the more recent years, it's become, in my mind, a way to just preserve just me, I guess, talking about whatever was happening at the time, so that way my kids can look back on it someday, or I don't know, as they get older, and just hear what their dad was like and see what it was like. It's not like I'm dying or anything. I guess existentially we're all dying, but I don't have any like life-threatening diseases at the moment, so this isn't like a attempt to do that in a rush or anything, but I just thought it was a cool idea, and that's why I thought this gift was so cool, because this is the shit I like to do, is podcasts, and what a great way to talk to my kids through this. Even though I could do it live, but yeah, which we do. I feel like we do that through our dinner conversation and shit, but yeah, I hope you guys are watching, no matter how long this has been since it was recorded, but yeah. This one's for my babies. All right, so let's fucking pop this motherfucker open. What's up, guys? I know you guys hear me talk like this all the time, so it doesn't really matter how I speak. I'm not going to try to censor myself or anything. I know we did pull a couple when we were at home the other night, but I'm going to try not to pull those same ones again, because just kind of mix it up. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go for these light purple ones. All right, first question sent in by a listener. What is the best piece of marriage advice you've ever received, and how has it influenced your relationship? Ooh, that's a good one. Right out the gate, that's a good one. Because, when you first get married, a lot of people want to give you a lot of advice. And sometimes you take it, sometimes you don't, just because you look at their relationships, or, how you differ from them and what you value versus what they value. Oh, I can't even think of any right now. Because maybe I just didn't listen to any of the advice that people gave me when it comes to marriage. Which may be a problem. I don't know. That might. We're just all trying to figure it out on our own, right? We have no. I mean, we had examples in our parents of what a marriage looks like, but everybody's examples are different. The best piece of marriage advice I've ever received. I mean, because sometimes I feel like the cliche ones, like don't go to sleep mad, or I don't know, happy wife, happy life. Like those just, I mean, yes, you want your spouse to be happy, but I think the better one of that was happy spouse, happy house. And it goes for both in the marriage, which is good advice. I'll take that one, I guess. But like, don't go to sleep mad. I mean, I'll be honest. There's been times I've gone to sleep mad. I think we've both gone to sleep mad a handful of times. But the best piece of marriage advice. I think that's like the best answer I can give at this moment. Nobody gave me good marriage advice. They're like, just let this guy figure it out on his own. All right, next question. That was a good question, though. I'm assuming these are all going to be good questions because the couple we pulled that night were pretty fucking good. Did you have a favorite childhood pet that you loved to play with? See, that's the thing. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of pets. Like, we weren't a dog family or a cat family, but we did have rabbits. A couple rabbits for a couple years or a couple times. I don't even know if they lived a year. But I can't say that I like loved to play with them because they would just run away from you in the yard. It's not like you played with them, but maybe I had fun. I have recollection that we had these rabbits, but I don't remember like the experiences of the moments with these rabbits per se. I do remember that one rabbit we had, and my dad, or I should just say G-chan for you guys, but G-chan built Auntie Kristen like this rabbit structure, so it had like shelter and a house, and our neighbor had cats that were indoor outdoor cats, and one day we came home and one of our rabbits was like dead in the cage, but there was really no sign of entry. It was quite a mystery of how it happened, and I think we just ended up thinking that like it maybe got frightened to death by the cat trying to get in or something, or maybe the cat was able to get in and get out without leaving any evidence of a break-in. We did have a lot of fish growing up, which was cool, but you don't really play with fish. I had a tiger Oscar at one point. That was mine. That got fucking pretty big. And we went on a trip one year, and we only had the one automatic feeder. And G-chan had these fat goldfish, like 4 of them, maybe 3 or 4 of them, the kind like you can hold in your hand. And they were in this, I don't know, giant tank, probably like 75 to 100 gallons. I don't remember the exact number, but this gigantic tank with these beautiful goldfish. And then in my room, I had this tiger Oscar, and we were going on a trip. So we decided to throw the Oscar in with the goldfish while we were gone so they could all get fed automatically. And I came back earlier, like just a few days or like a week earlier than everybody else. So when I got home and came to check on the fish, and I just saw my Oscar in the gigantic fish tank with no goldfish, I was like, oh fuck, G-chan's gonna be so pissed. But he really wasn't that mad. I'm sure he was a little upset, but he didn't like yell at me or like, fuck, what the hell? He didn't like flip out or crash out, as the kids say. But yeah, so then he just got to live in that tank for the rest of his days. We used to have this arowana It's like this long, silver, metallic-y looking fish. That one was pretty big. It was called his name was Action Jackson for some reason. But yeah, we used to feed him live fish. That was cool. But when he died, Ji-chan put him in his bag and threw him in the freezer, and we kept him in there for a while. I don't even know what he did with them. He probably just threw him away eventually. But I remember every time we'd open the fridge, you'd see that plastic bag, and you knew it was Action Jackson, just frozen. I was thinking this would be a good. After I'm done with these, I'm gonna pass them on to my dad. I'm gonna have my dad on the podcast or something, and have him record it too. And I could ask my mom too. You could do this with anybody, really, but this was a Father's Day present, so I thought it was appropriate. Yeah, okay, let's get another one. Question number 3. How do you establish trust and open communication with your children? Oh, this is one we had the other night, but I'll answer it again since I pulled it. Shit happens, right? Well, what I said then, I think is my answer still is just being there to listen when they have something to talk to you about. Don't dismiss what they have to say. Actually listen to your kids. Don't just like write them off. Talk to them like adults. Kids aren't dumb, so if you just kind of spell it out for them, they get it. Yeah, don't lie to your kids about shit. But we all know culturally there are some lies we have to tell. When you're old enough, you'll figure those out. But they're not really lies. They're more just like lies. I don't know. They're lies. There's no way to really say it, but you'll know why when you're older, why parents do that, I guess, or can try to justify it later. Wait, I did one of those colors already. I did one of those. Let's get one of these purple ones. Purple. Jeez, it's hard to fucking get out. Okay, here we go. Question number 4. All right. When facing setbacks and challenges, what has always been your theme song of your life? Oh, the theme song of your life. There's this song. I don't know if it would be specifically for setbacks and challenges. I mean, but there is this song that once I've heard it, like, it's always kind of a go-to beat in my head. Like, it always just kind of pops back in at times. It's Organ Donor is the name of it. I forget who fucking made it, but it's like an old breaker song. Like, we used to break dance to it. But yeah, it's actually a pretty good song. I'll edit it in right now.
You got an organ going there.
So yeah. But yeah, we used to get together. We used to breakdance all over the place, actually, at Uncle Daniel's house. We used to go to this place called Hyper Squad because we knew people who were dancers and other people who taught there. So yeah, we could like practice in the studio space. We used to practice at Uncle Chandrick's house, just all over the place. And we bought our own linoleum, rollout, fucking tiles so we could lay it anywhere and bust a move. But that's my theme song, I think, that I hear. I also like the song Music Makes Me High by I think it's the Lost Boys, and like there's like Daz and Corrupt on it, and Cannabis is on it. Cannabis is one of my favorite rappers. But yeah, that's a good song too. I like that one. I guess you could say those are the 2 songs, depending on what mood I'm in. All right, let's get to the next question, shall we? This is going by pretty quick. I guess I didn't anticipate that I would be answering them so quickly. But maybe I can take a little more time on each one and just kind of slow down. Otherwise, I'm going to do this whole fucking jar in one episode. All right, haven't I done yet? Mint green. How many are there? There's 6 different ones. 1, 2, 3. So this is number 5. Question number 5. How have your hobbies impacted your life? Ooh. Well, starting with hobbies when I was younger, I guess you could consider skateboarding a hobby because it's not like we were trying to be professional at it. It was really just for fun. That has killed my knees at this point, at the age I am now, but that was a way for me to at least stay healthy and stay fit with physical activity at the time. But I guess that has influenced me or impacted my life overall, I guess, in the sense of my style, the way I dress. I like the skater aesthetic still. Even though now you guys have gotten me into sneakers and shit like that. I still feel like I represent a skateboard culture and not skinny jeans, fucking checkered Vans skateboarding, more like neighborhood, skateboarding, Zoo York skateboarding. Fucking, yeah. All right, last one. So I've gone through every color. I guess another hobby is this podcasting. I guess you could consider that a hobby. Started as a hobby, which also has impacted my life in the fact that it makes me a lot more comfortable public speaking. So that has definitely helped. I haven't really had many hobbies. Yeah, that's probably it. I did want to mention that before I move on to the next question. Because I did think of that the first time, but I just forgot to say it. Have you ever had a job that made you question your life choices? Oh, shit. Relevant. Yeah, absolutely. Most of the jobs I've taken have made me question my life choices and in different ways, right? Sometimes you take risks and try different things, and after the honeymoon phase settles, sometimes you get a better sense of the reality of things, and you realize this wasn't really what I thought it was. You question maybe you were better off in a different place, but I'm not gonna get into specifics and all that shit, but just kind of like general experiences. But yeah, but nothing like in a terrible way, like how did I end up here? Like never in that sense. More like, I wouldn't even say regret, more just like I wonder what it would have been like if I didn't do this or stayed with this, or whatever the case might have been. But yeah, I hope you guys don't ever end up in a job that makes you question your life choices. I hope we raise you well enough. I feel like Nona and G-chan did a good job of raising me, that I'm not getting into any professions that are disgraceful or despicable, that have me questioning my life choices. And that's a reflection of me and your mom too, right? Is how well we've raised you. So I hope not. And I hope you can fucking come and talk to me, and I'll let you know if I don't think a job is appropriate. But there are a lot of fun jobs you can get and have that are absolutely appropriate. So you don't have to have those sort of thoughts about questioning your life choices. All right, that was the first round, I guess, of one of each color. How long has it been? Not that time, because I started. It took me a while to get started again. You know how throw into the beginning of this shit, just awkward as fuck. I'm telling you right now, dude. Like, it takes me a few times to actually get it where I feel comfortable, because most times it feels pretty lame. So just FYI for you guys, if you wanted to know that. But probably about 20 minutes, I'm going to say. I don't remember exactly when I got it right. But Got this new table. The set's a little different because we've made some changes in Auntie's garage, or I guess Auntie has made some upgrades with this nice slab, a monkey pod, I think it is. But it's a beautiful table. Uncle Calais sanded it down and made it nice and put this fucking clear coat of what's it called on it? I don't know, but it's nice. But I am using my original chair because I like armrests. Don't tell Uncle Calais. Because the new chair is no more armrests. Which makes me kind of like, what do I do with my hands? I'm always sitting like this, and I feel like it makes my posture worse. But at least here, my belly is hidden. That's why we wear dark shirts, because hide your fat belly. Anyway, all right. Back to the questions, shall we? So round 2. Here we go. Just randomly picking a color, I suppose. It's random as it can be. How do you and mom make decisions together as a couple? And what is your process for resolving conflicts? Great question, you guys. I know you guys didn't ask these personally, but this is a great question to include because conflict resolution is very important. And, you know, I mean, honestly, your mom and I were working on it. We're not always the best at resolving conflict, but, you know, talking to each other, being honest and open is pretty much the key to that. Don't do like I do and bottle shit up and fucking hold it until you explode at some point. What? Sorry, Uncle Calais bothering me from outside the auntie's garage door. I feel bad. Sorry, Calais. We'll do this again with the both of us, I promise. He wanted to join, but I told him, like, do them on my own just because it's for you guys. But we'll catch it around next time. I'll ask him these questions and record it. Maybe I'll record one for him for his daughter. We can do it right after this, actually. But how do we make decisions together as a couple? We just talk it out. One person has an idea or a suggestion, like, you know, should we get this or do you want to do this? And we just see if it's doable, you know, financially, fucking time-wise, whatever it might be. But yeah, we just talk about it. It's never come to the point where we've had to junk in a pool. I think both of us are pretty good at compromising. Maybe a little too much. Both of us might not give in a negative way, but like appease the other person easier just because, you know, especially me, like if I see it's something mom looks excited about and she's like brings it up, then I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I'm not going to like argue about it. And that's part of life too, is like just kind of being able to read people in the right way. Hopefully I get it right and I'm reading her correctly most times, but I think I do a pretty good job. And if it seems important to her, then, you know, I make it important to me and make sure that we can do it. Next question. Have you ever had a coworker who was a real character? I mean, yes, at every job I think I worked with, there was characters. I mean, one place I worked, I think the dude was like connected to the mob in some way, Hawaii's underground mob scene, which is kind of crazy. Worked with people who were on a lot of drugs at the time. Worked with people who threatened to stab other coworkers. That was a crazy story. This one dude, at the end of their shift, was all mad at the other dude, and they've been bickering all fucking shift. And whatever, the dude just had it, and grabbed 2 pairs of scissors, gave one to the other guy, and said, let's fucking do this. And it was just like, whoa. That was pretty nuts. I had another guy so upset about me asking him to wait and start 30 minutes later if he could, and that he ended up quitting right on the spot. He was like, fuck you, I quit. All right, well, that sucks, but more tips for us, I guess. Yeah, there's characters everywhere. I think everywhere you work, you're going to find there's these fucking oddballs and weirdos, but sometimes if you make friends with them, then, I don't know, it makes the experience more fun. You never want to be on the wrong end of a fucking weirdo at work, because you got to work with these people. And sometimes if you can't spot who the weirdo is at work, then it might possibly be you. You might be the weird one, unfortunately. And I think simply the way I look, not right now, but at my other job, just my appearance, even though I didn't have the dreads yet, just the long hair and the long beard was quite unusual for that setting. So I might have been the weird one. Yeah, you make friends with the weird ones, and then you can actually have fun at work, you know? Here's a tip. If you're working in a corporate setting, make friends with the IT guys. That's fucking what's up, is make friends with those dudes. They'll be your best friends, and they'll help you out when you need them. And they're usually pretty cool in their own nerdy ways. You just got to, like, be open to different people, I guess. Or maybe just they're into the same type of shit that you're into, so you fucking get along. I had this one guy, not the same guy, but at the same job, threatened to choke me and another guy out because there was some misunderstanding. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but yeah, that was pretty intense. And then, yeah, I worked with another guy who was like fucking totally on like the underground. Like he had ties to the Hawaii underground, and it was like, oh shit, this dude's nuts. But he wasn't nuts. He was like the nicest, sweetest guy ever. But you could see in his eyes there was a side of him that was fucking murderous and rageful. But I mean, he was otherwise the most happy-go-lucky dude. Partied with him a couple times. That was interesting. What is the most valuable lesson you hope to pass on to me about responsibility and accountability as I grow up? Wow. Okay. I know this is going to be heavy, but this is what was told to me by Ji-chan, is that you have not necessarily the weight, but you have like the responsibility to make sure our last name doesn't get tainted. Like, you represent every Yoshimoto that has come before you, and you want to represent us in a positive way, in a, just an upstanding way. You don't want to, like, make us look bad. You don't want to end up in jail and have our name in the fucking news that you did this, and it's like, God damn it, that's us. You know what I mean? Like, can't have you be doing that shit. I know you guys will do the right thing. I mean, I feel like we're teaching you well. So just keep up the good work. And accountability, like, just own up, like, a sincere apology will help you. I know people make mistakes, and you just don't try to blame others. Don't try to, like, make excuses. Sometimes people make mistakes, and even as adults, we make mistakes, right? So just owning up to it, not trying to blame or make excuses. Just take responsibility, be accountable for your actions, and face the fact that sometimes those actions will have consequences, and they might not be the greatest of consequences if you're doing fucked up shit. So if you do the right thing, which we try to impart on you, which we will try to continue to impart on you, then that shouldn't really be a problem. And if it is a problem, then we're going to have a problem. So don't make it a fucking problem. All right, next question. What hobby have you been wanting to try but haven't had a chance to yet? Oh. See, here's the thing with, like, I don't know. Let's think about this. I mean, there's so many things I want to do. I'd like to skate again. We do that sometimes. We go to the skate park together. That's cool. I would like to try, like, I mean, there's so many things I would like to make, like hula implements, that kind of stuff. Working with my hands, making shit, growing bonsai trees. Learn playing the drums more. We have a drum set, but it's, we don't really play it as much. But that'd be fun to do again. That I haven't had a chance yet. I guess those first ones are ones I haven't had a chance yet. Those are things I've never done. Yeah. I don't know. I've never really been much of a hobby dude. Which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it's no judgment. It's just what it is, I suppose. Right, did I do this one yet? No, I have not. Yeah, sorry, no hobbies. Oh, did you ever have a moment when you felt like you were at a crossroads in your life, and how did you decide which path to take? I don't know. I haven't really. I feel like every decision has just been like decisions that needed to be made. I don't think I've ever really found myself at a crossroads in the sense of what this question is asking. I mean, I guess in the sense of searching for employment, at times when maybe I've had two things on the table as offers at the same time, deciding which one to take, and I guess in that sense the decisions were made what's best for our family, as far as like all the things that come with different places of employment. Never really any big life crossroads that I can fucking pin down at the moment. Sorry. All right, last question for round 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Which one didn't I do yet? I did foam green. I did purple. I did not this lighter blue. What is the most adventurous or daring thing you ever did as a child without your parents knowing? Ooh. I mean, we did a lot of things without Nona and Ji-chan knowing. I mean, I take it back. Nona and Ji-chan knew everything I did, and everywhere I was, they were really good about staying on top of my whereabouts and my activities. I mean, I got into some pretty hairy situations, but again, Nona and Ji-chan found out about those. They had to have known. Actually, maybe not this. Let's see. Well, it's similar to another situation they did know about, but I don't think they knew about this particular instance as like its own standalone experience. So I guess that's probably. See, that was not adventurous or daring. That was just dumb and dangerous. So I won't actually share that one. I mean, as a kid, I don't know. Remember how old we were? Probably 5th or 6th grade. We used to ride our bikes from our house in Waipahu Gentry to our other friend's house in like Waipahu, Waipahu proper. Down along Cam Highway, crossing onto Waipahu Street, going through, houses and pretty far away on a bike for a kid that age. We used to also cross Cam Highway and go into like the pineapple fields and the sugarcane fields and ride our bikes along the paths in there. There was actually a couple ponds or like reservoirs that you could go back there. I never actually swam in those. We went to this place that was up in the cemetery in Mililani. It's still like Waipahu basically, but on the other side of the freeway, we rode our bikes into there, and you go all the way into the back, and there's this like water canal aqueduct. I don't know what it is, like a irrigation thing. So we would go and jump in there and bring our bodyboards and swim in there. It had this dip down that where it came in and made the water would roll there and made like a wave, so you could like stay right in there and bodyboard and do that. It's cold as fuck. I guess as we got older in high school, we used to hike up to Palisades Falls a bunch. I don't know if my parents, if they knew we were going up there every single time, but that's adventurous and daring because, accidents fucking happen while you're up there. Not one time while I was up there, but another time when they went, they had brought a machete and were trying to like clear a path, and one of their friends whacked themselves in the leg and fucking split themselves open pretty bad, and they had to walk back in that shit. That was pretty fucking harrowing, but I wasn't there that time. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's been as far as daring and adventurous goes. Should I do one more round? Yeah, I guess I can do one more round for you guys. Shit, I don't have a lighter. Hold on. I'll be right back. I see one. I hope you guys are still watching, and for those of you who aren't my kids, why are you still watching? I thought I was clear that you shouldn't be. I'm totally fine with this episode not getting many views because the purpose of it is quite specific, I guess. Jesus. What has this lighter been being used for? Okay. Now it feels more like everyone knows you're high. All right, back to the jar we go. Move this over here. Make it a little more closer to myself. Have you ever received a special gift related to one of your hobbies? What was it? Actually, it was just, this thought had just popped in my mind before pulling this question regarding this joint, because this was one of the entries from the Aloha Cup, which was a very special gift because we walked away with like a lot of fucking weed. Like they gave us all these samples and shit. And the first round of 10 they took back, but then the second round nobody came to claim it. So it was like, is this for us? So I walked away with what I had and what Uncle Calais had. And that's related to this hobby of podcasting. But then again, I don't know. This isn't really a hobby. This is kind of like my thing, I think. I guess a hobby could be your thing. It's definitely not getting paid for this, right? So that's pretty cool. That was a pretty special gift. All right, next question. What are the most important values that you would want to teach your children? Compassion, especially for one another. That's a big one. Patience is another one. A new one I'm learning, which I would like to impart to you, is boundaries and speaking up for yourself when it's necessary. So, like having a strong sense of self and of purpose, knowing what you want to do. I don't know, to have a sense of humor about things. Not everything is as serious as you might think. So, being able to like see the humor in things and not take it so seriously every time will help a lot. It also can be detrimental because others might not see it your way and might be offended, but hey, that's their problem, right? You can only be responsible for your own reaction. You can't be responsible for the way other people react. Yeah, those are important values, I think. the value of family, valuing each other, being there for one another. Me and Auntie Kristen could definitely do better at, being there for each other. But, distance is not an excuse, but that does play a part, right? Yeah. Value yourselves. You guys are like precious beings, dude. Don't fucking let anybody diminish who you are. Like, value yourselves. Have some pride in yourself. Honor yourself. And yeah, those are all great values that I would love to pass down to you guys. Some of them I probably could use some work on before I start trying to impart them on you. But hey, that's how life is, right? Just because I'm not quite there yet doesn't mean I can't want better for you. What is the most unexpected skill you had to learn for a job? The most unexpected skill. I don't know. When I was a valet and a bellhop, the skill of being able to, you think I'm going to say park cars, but it's actually pack luggage into a car. Being able to Tetris that shit in and make it all fit. It's a skill that still comes in handy to this day when we travel or, when we're packing up stuff for work or whatever. Just being able to see how things would most efficiently fit into the space you have available. Yeah, that's probably a really good one. This isn't a job podcasting, but the skill to be able to speak like this, not a lot of people can do this for however long I've been doing it or longer. So that's a pretty good skill. The gift of gab. Yeah, those are pretty. I guess the Tetris one, the luggage one, is the most unexpected in the sense to answer that question. Because I'm fucking good at it. People doubt me, but I'm like, just give it to me, dude. Let me fucking do it. I got this. This is a long one. In our diverse world, what is the most important lesson about empathy and understanding others that you hope your children will learn? Ooh, this one is, I can get super metaphysical on it and spiritual and heavy, but like basically that everyone is the same. Like everyone is you. We are all the same thing. Mom was referring it to as the law of one that she's been reading into and looking into. But basically that is like treat everyone as if they are you. The golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated is great, but a better rule is treat others as if they are you. Like, how would you treat yourself? You wouldn't do that to yourself, so don't do it to others because that's you. Like, everyone, not necessarily you, but we're all the same thing, like everything sentient, everything living, everything breathing, everything with consciousness comes from the same source. And harming or doing bad or trying to cheat others is just doing it to yourself, right? So we don't want to treat others like that. We want to treat people as if they are us, right? A good one for trying to understand other people is like you never know the struggles and things that other people are going through or have gone through that make them the way they are now. So try not to be so judgmental of others. I know it can be hard because there are people out there who are going to rub you the wrong way, but trying to be compassionate. Joe Rogan said it. I don't know where he heard it from, but it is actually a good one. It's like, try to remember that at one point, everybody was just a little baby. Everybody has been a baby that just wanted love and wanted to be loved and cuddled and tickled and played with. And, and at some point in their life, circumstances might have changed, which evolved them to the way they are now. And just, but at one point, everybody was just a sweet, cute, loving little baby. And that helps to have more compassion when people are getting out of hand or, being unreasonable. And patience, because it takes a lot to not be the person that's just reacting to things. To be able to respond instead of react is something I think is important. Even I'm still learning that too, right? Not just crashing out again, as you guys say. Which is funny, because that's like what fucking Erickson and Hito say right now. But when India and Nico watch this later, they might have a completely different terminology for just having a meltdown. But yeah, did that answer that question? I guess maybe, hopefully. All right, 2 more for this round, and I think I'm gonna fucking wrap it up. Yeah, I think I'll do that. All right, what color is next? We'll go with purple. This is a great present again, you guys. I fucking love it. Like, this is actually really a meaningful present to me, because it allows me to do something like this. And we can do it in person too, so that way we can have that moments there. But I just thought in the idea of preserving memories, right? Because for me, I have a shitty memory. So maybe I tell you these stories and I forget, and then I become your dad who just tells you the same stories over and over. And it's like, Dad, you told us that already. How do you celebrate your successes and milestones, no matter how big or small? Oh, just maybe a proverbial pat on the back to myself. Good job. GG. Good game. I don't really know. I don't really think I have a way to celebrate or, yeah. I used to like smoke a bigger joint maybe than I normally would. I don't know. Like if it's a big money win, I remember like got a new job or something, I'd go buy something like, yay. But then that's not actually financially smart or responsible. Yeah, maybe I gotta celebrate the wins more, I probably haven't been doing that as much as I should. All right. I think this is the last one. Yep. Last one. Did you have a special childhood nickname that your friends or family called you? No, G-chan just called us kiddo a lot. No, I didn't have any nicknames. I mean, people called me Howley Boy, and my friends called me that, but not like all the time. When we were older in like high school and tried to start a band, they referred to me as the obnoxious Howley, because I wouldn't shut up and stop playing the drums in between songs so they could talk. Uncle Eric, I guess, is a nickname. Nah, that's not a nickname. I gave myself the nickname the White Yoshi just because it felt really appropriate when I saw the toy of it at 7-Eleven. I was like, that's a great name. That's pretty fucking accurate. But nobody like calls me that. People pretty much just call me by my name. I mean, I have gone by many names in the past. Hanzo Haritomo, Esteban El Feo, Iraq the Sure Shot, Gandalf the Flannel, the White Yoshi, Uncle Eric. Who else? I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Gary Bondo. Can't forget that one. This is probably the best one. How can I forget Gary Bondo? Yeah, I think that's all my nicknames. So, but nobody really calls me that anymore. Oh, they used to call me the T-Rex Hunter too. But yeah, Mr. Kobayashi, that was another one. They're all coming back to me now. All these rap names. You know, all the AKA, 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 AKA. Do rappers even do that nowadays? Probably not, yeah. They all just put weird acronyms in front of their names and nobody knows what the fuck they stand for. NLE this. Fucking, I don't know. YNE Nelly. Who knows? My kids know, but I don't know. You guys know. I don't know. But anyway, I guess that'll wrap it up for this episode. I'll do more of these as we go till we get through the jar. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys found it interesting and revealing and enlightening into how your papa is. Yeah, I'll see you guys when I get home. Love you guys. Peace.